I think we're live, but I am not sure. Live chat. Welcome to live chat. Yeah. Yes, here we are. So it's actually the 14th of December. So we are here now. But I can't see. There we are. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, that's fantastic. You can see me and hear me. That's brilliant. I didn't think it would work, but the chat seems to be appearing and disappearing all the time. Same question. No, there's a mistake. It's the 14th today, not the 15th. So the chat is today, as always, on a Sunday. Yeah. So yeah, it's not great on my iPad, but I can see you. So the chat keeps disappearing though, which is annoying. Ron says, good morning from snowy New York City. So you did get that snow, eh? My son told me about that. Yeah, they were expecting it in New Jersey as well yesterday when he spoke to me. So did you get 4 inches? That's about getting more vivacious at 55. Not sure what that was about. Let's see. Deborah says, hello, Emmy and friends. And I never believe a lie says, yay, I'm here, glorious birthday girl. And Deborah says, hello, never believed, getting more vivacious at 55. Hi all, says Caroline. And Deborah says, I made it home on time. Well, good for you. And here you are. Very clear image and audio, Nancy Listen says. I haven't got all the things I normally have, guys. I'm here on the Isle of Wight on my iPad, and I don't have your names list, and I don't have good chat records. I think it is quite different, but I'm glad to hear there's a good image and audio. Françoise is here. Hello, Françoise. Hello, everyone. Emmy, I would be very grateful if you could remind us what the main paths are to get out of depression. Ho. Well, that is quite a big question. I'll see if I can come back to that in a moment. Let's say our hellos a bit first, okay? But remind me of that. That's obviously a very important question. And perhaps some people have some things to say about that. I did a video about it some weeks ago when the whole group got together saying the things that work for them to get out of depression. And you should look for that video. Can you see Bruno there? Hello, Bruno. Yeah, Bruno is trying to get into the shop. He's very successfully too. So Deborah says, hello, Bruno. Yeah, so that's what alerted me to it, Deborah. Yeah, the birthday weekend has been wonderful. It has been very enjoyable indeed. I've had lots of phone calls from family, and I've had lots of fun times with the dog. It's been amazing weather. It's been wonderful. I'm very pleased I'm not in New York for their winter. It was a joke. I saw your Instagram birthday post. Right. So, New York, how many inches have you got of snow? I think it's pretty bad, isn't it? Nancy says, we love that you take us with you. Yeah, I took you with me to the Isle of Wight here. And you see me in the bedroom in the cottage, and Digby's downstairs in the other room. And Bruno is with me, but he's getting a little bit funny about it. He's trying to get on my lap. So you will see the Bruno on my lap in a moment. Oh, Bruno, you're heavy. Oh, Bruno. Oh, Bruno. You are something. Go sit down behind me on that chair. That might work. Yeah, okay, that's good. There. So Bruno is doing the live chat with me today. Bruno wants to talk to you all as well, do you see? Especially for the Isle of Wight. A Bruno performance. Yes. It's okay, Bruno. You can be there. Yes. So, thank you. Thank you for all the lovely happy birthday messages. And from Nashville, Tennessee, thank you. That's very kind. I think where attention goes, energy flows. Yeah. Look for magic in nature is what bolsters my spirit. That's a fantastic intervention. Thank you very much. Eva says, Nancy, Ron, Julia, Caroline, never believe. Hard. Yeah. Deborah says, I can see and hear everything. Thanks for making time for us. Well, it's a pleasure. I wouldn't want to miss out on that. Oh, now Bruno's lying down. Okay, yeah, very good. Oh, Bruno, you're making it quite complicated here. Yeah, all right, that's good. Are you lying down nicely now? Yeah, that's very good. See? There he is. He's with me now on my lap. Yes. Yes, my assistant today. I got my assistant with me today. My special Isle of Wight assistant. Yes, sweetheart. Yeah, you are very good. It's fine. Very good. Yes, yes. I'm not criticizing you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're a good boy. Yes, very good boy. I'll give you a little snack. Okay, there you go. Okay. There, well, this is a Bruno session today. He's asking me for all the attention at the moment. He's not quite sure what I'm doing here. He understands when I'm sitting in my office on my computer and he lies under the desk. But yes, Bruno has become a lapdog, absolutely. Yeah, the beaches here are amazing. They're just wonderful sandy beaches in some places, and dogs are allowed on Yaverland Beach and on Bembridge Beach all year round. So that's one of the reasons we like being here. Absolutely. Yeah, Caroline says, glad to see you were able to make it, Eva. We are glad. And Nancy says, hi, dear Eva. Yeah, Bruno is like the DJ of the live session. Priyana is new here today, but I won't be able to write your details down because I'm not at home in my normal place. But welcome to our live session. And tell us a bit more about yourself, please. Yes, and I think we got Ethan from Asia as well here today. Would you like to come to Asia? Yeah, I've been to Asia quite a few times. I have spoken in China, I have spoken in Malaysia, I have spoken in Japan, I have spoken in lots of places in Asia. In India, I've spoken in Goa. Yeah, so that is something I've been doing for quite a few decades, really. But how lovely to have you here today. It's really good to see some new people again. And Graham is here. Thank you, Graham. I did have a pleasant birthday. You made it well in time today. That's excellent. That's really cool. So let's see, what have we got? Julia says, I do nature-informed therapy. Nature does wonders for people with depression. And that is well backed up with research. So spending time walking in nature and being amongst the trees or by the sea does wonders for depression. Doing it every day will prevent depression and will make it easier for you. So that is definitely one of the things I would always recommend. So I think that our session today is a live session that is open to all the members of the channel. So it's not the inner circle today, which is why we're getting loads of new people here. But we obviously also have our normal group here. So we're having our conversation today about, if you're a member of the inner circle, you can see the readings I do every week of some of my work on the philosophers. And so if that is of interest to you, you can join us. And then on the Sunday, every Sunday at 4 o'clock, we have a special online session with a chat. And we hope to improve that chat over the months and years. And Deborah says, welcome new members, but I'm not sure they are new members, Deborah. I think they're just people who are attending. Never Believe says, I'm 100 million times % fine with Bruno taking the lead. Did you hear that, Bruno? Yeah, did you hear that? People are very happy to see you, Bruno. Yes, they are. You are on the live chat, darling. Yes, you are. There, we are on the live chat. Yes, baby boy, you need to be calm though, because mommy needs to talk to people, okay? That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. So Bruno thinks I'm just talking to him, you see. He doesn't realize you're all here. So he thinks we're having a special time here, sitting together on this chair. Now Bruno is sitting up properly. You can see him much better, can't you? This is turning out to be a Bruno session, and this is turning out to be a general live session for the wider channel. I'm quite sure of it. That is what's happening, guys. So, yeah, do you want to... Let's see what you're saying here. Yeah, Silence Speaks Now says, oh, Emmy is live. Let me give her some virtual hugs. Thank you. Welcome, new members. Yes, I'm very average anxiety, full person, taking out my frustration. Where were we? This keeps jumping about on everyone I meet, and I don't have any clue what to say where. Well, then you need to meet with lots of people you can trust, and you need to learn to see what feedback you get from people about what is helpful and what works for them. Come on, go back there. Oh, Bruno, you're preventing me from sitting up there, okay? Go lie down there, okay? Go lie down here. Go lie down here. Yeah, good boy. I'm getting Bruno to lie down at my feet for a bit because it gets very difficult to speak to you guys when Bruno is pushing onto my lap. So let's see. This is a chat today about Simone de Beauvoir. So we had a reading about Simone de Beauvoir's work, and I was reading about her feminist side of her work. So we were talking about how she described in her book how okay, that's all right, you can be there. How women become the other in life. How everything used to be, and to a large extent still is, defined by men, for men, and therefore women become the other, not the main person, but the other person. And also, she spoke about how we are not born a woman, but become a woman through the way society directs our way of being a woman. So, yes, we're born biologically a woman, but we can decide to interpret that in many different ways. So that is what the reading was about. And several of you were very interested in it and have been writing some comments on it, which was good to see. But let me go back to the chat, because we got a lot of things going on this chat. Never believe a lie says, Emmy, I thank you so much for helping my soul face towards the light over the last 3 years of being hyper fixated on fighting Goliath. I'm very glad that it's helping. That is very much the objective. I don't know what that means, the EASS have stood up for you, but it sounds like good news, so I'm very pleased to hear it. Emmy, do you think it's Emmy, not Amy, by the way? So it's EMMY, not AMY. Do you think psychedelic therapy works best rather than conventional therapy? No, I do not think so at all. I was involved in psychedelic therapy in the 70s, and I saw some very not so good things that happened, but I think it's being done more carefully these days. So I would be very cautious about it personally. And best depression overrider is a dog. Absolutely. A dog like Bruno keeps you on the go, and that's a very important part in overriding depression, isn't it? It keeps you on the go. You have to get up, you have to get out several times a day, you have to provide him with food and drink, so you're already on a normal, natural routine. And what you do for your dog, you can then do for yourself as well. But having to take your dog out for 2 walks a day is a fantastic way to keep yourself going and keep yourself basically fit. Because not only do you walk, but you're out there and you're not focused on yourself, because you're focused on playing with another creature. And playing, of course, is totally the antidote to depression, because playing is your natural ability to explore the world, to experiment, to figure things out, to enjoy the feeling of your body, emotion, being with other people, interacting, and being creative. So playing is the way in which you're going to overcome depression. And playing with an animal is doubly good. So yeah, definitely. Dogs are strongly recommended if you can look after them and you have room for them in your life. Because it's quite a commitment, isn't it? So Deborah says, I did enjoy the reading, Emmy, and she wrote a lengthy message. Yes, you did. And it was a very good idea of Eva's that we would have more intellectual conversations at the bottom of our readings for the week, because that is a very good way to think about it more carefully and to ask great questions. So, hello, Emmy. This is my first time catching you live. Happy birthday again. Well, thank you for coming. It's nice to see you here. So normally we have these sessions hidden away in the membership group. So if you want to come again next week, you need to just join the membership group, and we'll see you again at 4 o'clock next Sunday. Deborah says, animals and nature detract from bad things. It's happiness all around. Yeah, except when things go wrong with your animals, of course, then it can be very sad. Eva says, there are not so much women philosophers, are there? No, Eva. There is a terrible dearth of female philosophers, and therefore, for the next few weeks, I'll be doing readings about female philosophers. I'll do a few more weeks about Simone de Beauvoir, and then I intend to move on to Hannah Arendt, and I might do some Edith Stein, and we will try to really give a bit more room to the female philosophers, well, the female existential philosophers, that is. So yeah, it's very important to change that, isn't it? Anne is here and says, yeah, hi everyone, Anne joining late. Good to see you, Anne. And Eva says, hi, Anne. And Deborah says, I think it might be the same as having children, whereby you don't focus on yourself all the time. That is true. And having children is certainly a way to get out of yourself and get focused on caring for others. That is for sure. But for me, it's animal welfare, and what joy to be of service. Yeah, I agree. It is a wonderful feeling to look after others who are more in need, and animals are often in bad situations. So animal welfare does need looking after. The history of Bedlam and the barbarism of women is almost still in existence, with how organizations still project predatory leeches. Okay. Deborah says, I'm so happy to tell you all that one charities in Israel has recently named a rescued pregnant donkey after me. Oh, that is an amazing thing. That is an amazing thing. So happy, says Deborah. Yeah, I bet that makes you very happy. And Never Believe a Lie says, I think Beth Ditto is like a modern philosopher in her lyrics. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, sometimes there are writers, authors that are really good female philosophers. Of course, Simone de Beauvoir did both. She was a novelist as well as a philosopher and a teacher. So, yeah, that is interesting. And Deborah says, hello, Anne. And I don't see any other messages there. And let me see, I go scroll back a bit. And I think we've had them all. Yeah. Scarlett says, you must shake your head at some of the dichotomous thinking heralded in this epoch, Emmy. Thank you kindly for looking for grey areas, for assisting others in finding value and peace in life. Hey, that is so true, isn't it? It is a polarized era that we live in, and there are a lot of ways in which people become increasingly polarized, and that is why we're having so many wars. Instead of listening to each other and working out our problems, we tend to go for the fight and the aggression. And we believe that it's either me or you, rather than understanding that it always is about all of us together, and that collaboration is the better way forward, rather than winning or losing, and rather than fighting and trying to dominate others. if we can find a way to work together and each contribute the best we can, it works much better. And the best way to get to that is for us to create these kinds of communities where we practice that way of being and where we try to work as a community. So Deborah says, I think it might be the same as having children. Oh yeah, we've done that one. I am scrolled up a bit, so I need to scroll back down. I lost the chance of being a mother last week when my 4 top grade embryos had to be legally destroyed. That sounds dreadful. I feel very sorry for that to have happened. So dogs will now have to be my absorber of love. Well, there are many dogs in the world that will be happy to hear that. And I hope that you find some really good dogs to look after. But maybe Deborah can recruit you to work with her in animal care, which is not just about dogs, but about cats and donkeys and all sorts of rescue animals. Oh, psychedelic therapy was a thing in the 60s, yes, and the person I worked with in London, R.D. Lang, did LSD therapy. And I also worked with Jan Sebastians in the Netherlands, who did LSD therapy with, Bloemsgewijs, yeah, hello. So Jan Sebastians worked in Leiden, Bloemsgewijs, and he worked with LSD therapy with survivors of the Holocaust. And I used to work with those survivors of the Holocaust that went to see him in Leiden, but that lived in London. So they would come to my practice in London. And then we worked about what the LSD session had brought up for them. But my experience was that for people who had a lot of trauma in their background, who had been through the Holocaust, that was a very big problem to have these emotions and these memories become freed up again could lead to quite a lot of distress. So I learned to be very cautious about LSD therapy or, any other kind of therapy that uses those kinds of meds. So no, I am not a great advocate of that kind of therapy at all. What's your opinion on dream interoperations? Do they have a place in psychology? I don't know what dream interoperations are. I've never heard of such a thing, but I certainly work with dreams all the time. We have phenomenological ways of working with dreams. Hello, friend in Holland, says Deborah. Emmy, have you read Virginia Giuffre's book, Nobody's Girl? No, I have not read it. I have loads of other reading to do at the moment. I'm reading the proofs of my own book at the moment. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts on today's plight of the survivor. Yes, I think I will probably get round to reading that at some point. Thank you for wishing me a happy birthday, but it's not my birthday anymore now. It's past my birthday now, so let's forget about my birthday. If anyone wants to adopt animals, please speak to me, says Deborah. Unfortunately, says Graham, I've got very bad reception where I am, so missing a lot of this. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, Graham. I was just so pleased that you were here. And Never Believe a Lie says, I will, Deborah. I love the idea of creating a respite center for humans and animals. Oh, well, that is a very interesting idea indeed. If you can raise the money to create such a center for humans and animals, I shall come and talk to people there. That is a wonderful idea. Julia says hard. And Deborah asks, where do you reside? Sorry, I mean with dream interpretation. Dream interpretation. I don't do dream interpretation. I do work with dreams where people explore the meaning that they think attaches to their dream. So we look at their dream in a systematic way. And there is a demonstration of me doing that dream work on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, put in Emmy van Deurzen dream work and you will find it. It's 3 different videos and it will show you how I go through the dream with the dreamer quite systematically, and how I encourage the dreamer to figure out what the meanings of the dream are for them, rather than me doing that work for them. So I never do interpretation for people. I facilitate the dreamer to find systematic ways of revisiting the dream and looking at the dream in various different ways, at different layers of meaning. And those 4 layers are at the physical level, at the social level, at the personal level, and at the spiritual level. The spiritual level meaning, how does the dream speak about values and meanings and purpose? My father was in a Ukrainian concentration camp. He died when I was 7, so I know that generational trauma has shown up. Luckily, I have a lifesaver trauma-centered EMDR therapist, you mean? Yeah, that could be very helpful for you. So I'm pleased you have a therapist that is helpful to you. Yes, Deborah, I did do a video about dreams. Happy birthday, fellow Sagittarius. Well, happy birthday to you then. Tree car is very good with lucid dreaming. Yeah, lucid dreaming is a very good thing to learn to do. But I think it's important to understand your dreams before you start working on learning to do lucid dreaming. Yeah, okay. Maggie Holston says, thank you for everything you do. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here today. We should start talking about animals' rights vividly. I strongly believe that through animals we'll discover the empathy we've lost in our societies. Well, I think Deborah will be entirely in agreement with you there. And I think it is very true that we are often very cruel and very uncaring about animals. And it sort of fits with our session about Simone de Beauvoir. Because, 50, 70 years ago, women were often treated as badly as domestic animals, and they had to stand up for their rights to be treated in a better way. And animals cannot stand up for themselves, so we do have to do that for them. And I think that animals have a lot more to teach us than we realize, because Bruno's lying on my lap. Because when we pay attention to animals and we become aware of their plight and become aware that they need us, that changes the way we think about ourselves and about our own lives as well. So that is a very important thing to do. So Deborah says, Anne says, Deborah, I would love to get in touch with you about adopting a dog in the future and also how to support the donkey sanctuary, but I can't at the moment whilst my flat is undergoing refurbishment. Well, that's something for the future. That will be great. I think Deborah will be very pleased. And Deborah says, I'm very involved with animal charities in Ukraine. Thank you for sharing. I won't share here because it's Emmy's platform for the group, but feel free to reach out anytime. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. let's not turn this platform into an animal sanctuary platform, but by all means, let's be aware that it's a very compatible concern, and that it's great if people find, new connections through the channel. Absolutely. So feel free to get in touch with Deborah, and Deborah will help you get involved in all those kinds of things. And thank you again for your happy birthday messages, but that was yesterday. Bruno lucked out. Yeah, Bruno likes to be part of things. He likes to be close to me when I'm doing online work. Normally he sits under my desk, but here I am on the Isle of Wight, so he wasn't able to sit under the desk because there is no desk here to sit under. So Bruno is sitting on my chair behind me with his head on my lap. So where were we? I love the work of Dr. Pinkola Estes, Women Who Run with the Wolves. Yes, I have written about that. I wrote a paper recently about that, which I probably will publish on my on one of my channels soon. Yeah. I read that years ago and use my username, otherwise permission to share from Emmy. Yeah. Well, go to Deborah's channel. Do you have a channel about the animals yourself, Deborah? If so, would be a good way to recruit some people for it. Yeah, okay. Emmy, do you have any advice for shaking addictions? What do you mean by shake? You mean shaking addictions, not addictions to shaking. There are people who shake their heads a lot, though. I have worked with people who have been addicted to shaking their heads quite a bit. But I never work about getting rid of that. I work about people accepting that they can do such things in a principled, disciplined way when it suits them, and not feel compulsive about it in the same way. But work with addictions, to shake addictions. It's the same as with depression, really. It's the same with all those kinds of things. That you start to focus on something constructive and positive in your life, instead of just letting yourself be lived by these negative habits and these bad routines that spoil your life. So, yeah, it is definitely about getting used to being closer to nature. So working with animals or working in a garden and planting things, walking in nature, doing other things in nature. There are lots of things you can do in nature, working in woods and forests, learning sports that take you into nature, like sailing, for instance, is a very good one because it requires you to be very disciplined. Canoeing, any kind of boating things. Well, this is what I'm thinking about at the moment, because I'm on the island and I'm looking out, as I'm sitting here, I'm looking out over the harbor and seeing all these boats in front of me. So I know many people who have overcome depression and who have overcome addictions by focusing on that. Gardening, working with animals, doing things in nature, acquiring new sports, new abilities, going to work, help in soup kitchens. It's basically about filling your life with things that are conducive to you feeling satisfied and connected to other people, and no longer needing to turn to these addictive things that are basically bad for you and stopping you growing and stopping you feeling in charge of your life. So yeah, those are all the same things to do as you need to do when you are depressed, or when you gamble or smoking or drinking or any of those things. But bear in mind that it takes a while to change your lifestyle, and this is a lifestyle change you need. Don't think about it as an illness, think about it as a lifestyle. So try to minimize those things and maximize the time you spend on productive things, on creative things, and on things that help people in society or help animals in society. Deborah says, I find dreams so fascinating. We all dream. I'm sure you can see Bruno is dreaming. Yeah, Bruno dreams a lot. And he's very active in his dreams. He runs around. He obviously relives some of the good things he's done in the daytime when he's dreaming. And he dreams several times a day. You know, dogs fall asleep really easily and go into REM sleep, you know, rapid eye movement sleep quite quickly. And they give up completely, because when you're in REM sleep, of course, your muscle tone goes. So yeah, recurring dreams, when they're difficult, are very hard to work out, but it is very important to do so. Oh, really, I'd love to read, if possible. It's so nice to catch you live. Yeah, well, join us in our membership scheme, Bloemgewijs, and you will catch us every Sunday live. This is only exceptional that I'm live on the channel. Normally, we're only live within the membership group, and we only get about 15 people or so coming to the chat normally. So we have rather a lot more people. And normally we discuss the reading of the week. But today we have so many questions that are coming in from the channel that it's a little bit difficult. Hello, Emmy and Tribe. Old and new. Sorry I've been absent a while. Well, good to see you, Michelle. A few healthy challenges in the past month. I joined late tonight, but glad to be here again among friends. Very good to see you again. So Eva says, substitution can be a method to fight addiction. Yeah, substitution, definitely. So in my new book, I write a bit about my work with people to quit smoking, for instance, or to quit smoking things like hashish or heroin or marijuana. Yeah, it's Deborah says, sorry to hear about your health challenges. Bloemsgewijs says, bought my first super chat, just trying it out, how it works. Well, thank you. That's the first time I see that happening on the chat. It feels good to contribute, even though it's a small amount. Well, thank you very much. That's really nice of you. And it's a new one on me. I never come across that before. It's about lifestyle changes. It's about thinking carefully about how you want your life to be, and then reorganizing your life and reattributing the time you spend on various things. And you will see that the bad habits are always about things that you do when you fall into a gap, as it were, when there's nothing meaningful happening. So you need to make sure that every day is built in a more meaningful way, and therefore is working out for you and keeps you occupied, keeps you focused, keeps you purposeful with things that are helpful to you and that make you feel good, my friend. Because, of course, addictive practices are always about trying to connect more and are always about trying to feel good. So there are much better ways to feel good, like cuddling with your dog or talking with somebody you care for, or helping out in a situation where people are in need or animals are in need, or doing these things in nature, walking, gardening, all these sports out in nature, all these crafts, all these arts you can practice, even martial arts. If you bring lots of these things into your life, and it's very easy to do that these days, you can find all these things for free online, then you can learn so many new things. I always say to people who have these problems with negative things taking over their lives, learn a new language, go on Babbel, go learn a new language, and become aware of how much you're capable of, and start thinking about yourself in a much more positive, new way. Ron says, nearly 35 years sober. AA, give it a shot if it's an issue for you. Ron, I agree with you. AA works because it understands the process and it understands how to counteract it. And it provides you with an honesty and a facing up to the problem instead of treating it as some kind of medical problem or finding excuses. It exacts of you that you take charge of your life again and that you own up to what you're doing that's going wrong. And then it also gives you the support of the group, and it also gives you the support of another person who looks out for you. So it also makes you think about what is meaningful to you. So I'm a great believer in AA, and I think that is a very good way to start on it. So thank you, Ron, for acknowledging that about yourself. 35 years sober. That takes quite some doing, and I take my hat off to you, Ron. I always knew there was some strength in you, and now I see that you've overcome a really big problem, and you are proud of having done that. And thank you for passing it on to the people asking about that today. I once volunteered at Mother Teresa's home for the dying. What a good thing to do. Not for religious reasons, but just to bring relief to others needing love. Although I did have to call out some not so impressive aspects. Well, good for you. Yeah, volunteering in places where you are needed is a very good way to fill your life with meaningful things. Substitution, I think, is the word I have gone about with coping with my life. Thank you. Oh, what a wonderful life to happen upon. Thank you for all your teaching, Emmy. You're very welcome. I'm grateful for my supervisor, Justin Rock. Justin Rock, for introducing us to you. That's cool. Say hi to Justin. And be kind to yourself and others. Respect, Ron, says Michelle. Yeah, respect. That is exactly what I would like to say. I also need to say, guys, that our live session will end in 4 minutes. So if there are any more things you want to say to the group, this is the time to speak to each other. So send each other some messages. There's just 3 minutes left in our session. So after I came away from the Maytree Suicide Respite Center, I think because all my masks had been stripped off from me at their door, I was able to find honesty, rawly to see my life as a canvas to refresh. Now, that is exactly what I was talking about. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that is what it requires. We have to stop deceiving ourselves, and we have to face our lives, and we have to face the way we live it and what we're doing that makes us go in a wrong direction. And then we have to keep taking one step after another, going in the right direction and finding more meaningful things to do in our lives. Well done, Ron, says Deborah. What a treat to have Emmy all to ourselves. Wish I had more time to prepare. You can come into the membership group and you can see me every Sunday at 4 o'clock. So I hope that some of you who were here today will be able to do that and will be able to join us in the membership group. Thanks for all of you. Yeah, thank you, Emmy, and everyone for another great meeting. Yeah, that was quite different and interesting. And it was lovely to see all these new people. So thank you all for joining us and hope to see you next week in the membership group for another live session. And Eva says, thanks, Emmy. Thanks to all of you. Bloemsgeweest says, thank you so much for this. Michelle says, highly recommend joining in the inner circle if you have the means. Yes, please do. Bravo, Ron van Cleef. Peace and best of health to you all. Thank you, Emmy. I hope Bruno gets a delicious marrowbone for his Christmas feast. Oh, he'll get loads of things, did Bruno. He's a very spoiled boy, he is. Thank you, Emmy. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Emmy, for your gracious time. Thank you, friends, for being here. They'll be back. That's good. Peace and love. And Emmy, enjoy the rest of your holiday. Yeah, back to home tomorrow. Grateful to be here, says Sarah. Love to be here from so many people. Thank you, Emmy, for sharing so much with us all. Thank you, everyone. Good to see men here as well. There are lots of men here. I will hope to see my tribe again next week. Yeah, that's great. And some newcomers too. Thank you to Bruno for being here with us all. And this is when we say goodbye. Lovely to see you all today and hope to see you soon again. Bye, friends. Bye, everybody.